pledge allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll have public appeals or personal appeals. If anyone has an appeal, please go to the podium and sign in.
I'd like to just say this Saturday we had our first annual Easter egg hunt. And I just kind of wanted to let you guys know what happened with it. We had roughly about 100 people show up for it. I think it was a really good event. I didn't hear anything negative in the matter. We had the helicopter come in and land. A lot of the people were really excited to see the helicopter down there. We had our fire trucks displayed and equipment displayed for them to look at, as well as our ambulance service got to check out the private vehicles and make sure that their car seats were correctly put in, and corrected them actually for them because they were incorrectly put in. We had a smoke house there for the kids to go in, and we gave out over 5,000 Easter eggs that summer. Everybody was pretty excited about that. Lehigh Valley Martial Arts sponsored the Easter eggs for us, and we're hoping that this is going to be something that's going to grow every year for us, and it's a good positive outcome. The only negative, we did get one negative, and that was my bad. We said we're going to do it for 4 hours. Pretty much after the Easter egg hunt, everybody dissipated, and it was the end of it, and that was around 1:30, so we wrapped up around 2, and some people came a little late, and we apologize for that, and if anybody has any issues with it, they're more than welcome to come by the fire station. We'll hand out some coloring books and stuff and give you a tour of that, but I just want to let you guys know that we had a great event this Saturday, and we're hoping that that continues on. So,
thank you, Chief Nelson.
I attended that event, and great job, Chief, and kudos to the Lehigh Valley Martial Arts as well. It was 100 kids. There were probably 500 people. The helicopter was a hit. The police department was there. It was Upper Macungie. It was their fire bureau that sponsored the smokehouse. All of our emergency services were there, and they were all well represented. And the kids loved seeing the fire trucks, the ambulances, the police cars. We had one of our new trucks there that the police department had on display. So well done, and I hope to see this event for years to come. I think it's a good second Easter egg hunt in town. I think people like that. I had one person call me today all worried that they missed the Easter egg hunt, and when she found out that she can go to the one on Saturday, she was relieved. But I think it's a good second Easter egg hunt in town. I really do. And I think St. Matthew's, St. John's. Yeah. Also had one on Saturday, so it's nice to see those events around town.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shane. Any more personal appeals? Hearing none, Community Minute. Anybody have anything for Community Minute?
Just a quick reminder that the electronics recycling should be open, and for details you can see your newsletter that went out this past week.
What is the date and time?
They, I believe, are the second
Monday.
Oh.
Second Monday.
Second
Is it on our calendar?
It is. And then also in the in our handout, it did have it lists many more items this time around than it previously did. So hopefully people see that and be able to bring some other items over for recycling. So.
Thank you, Roy. Well, we mentioned Police Chief David Faust. His last day is this Friday. As you know, Chief Faust requested that we not draw attention to him, but we like to point out to the residents that please take the time to read the cover story, which is on our Chief Faust, pointing out not all his accomplishments, because that would be the whole book, but major accomplishments that the Chief has brought to this borough. And I hope that before his last day that everyone in here gets a chance to get in there and wish him the best of luck before he moves on to his retirement or his next career move. And I'd like to personally thank him for his service and everything he has done for this borough. At this time, I'll open it up to the floor if anyone would like to make comments on the chief. If not, you can do it personally. That's fine, too. All right, hearing none. Special presentations. At this time, I will turn over the floor to USA Architects and Mr. Schwartz and Mr. Tovar.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name's Paul Schwartz. I'm one of the founding partners of USA Architects. We're based in Easton, right down in the Alpha Building in downtown Easton. So with me today, I've got Carlos Tovar, and we're going to talk about the process of where we started, which was back in December 9th, was our initial kickoff meeting. Since then, we've met with the leadership, including the building committee, along with your manager, and along with a lot of the leadership from the borough. Fire chief, police chief, a number of other people that are part of the process. So there was a very long, sort of arduous process of about 7 different meetings. We developed a program. We were looking at different options, recognizing, and we'll talk about in a second, about how we're going to sort of repurpose the former Rodale property over on Minor Street. So with that, so I don't need to go into too much detail. Obviously, this is the location. This is the site we're talking about, the Rodale site, which is comprised, this is the rail line here, Minor Street, along here, and then you've got a series of essentially 4 buildings that comprise the former Rodale complex. Part of one of the charter schools is down on the one side here, and for the most, everything else is pretty much vacant at this point. So the mission, the mantra has been to somewhat repurpose this building in as a cost-effective way as possible and make sure that the phasing could work so that depending on when the borough could afford to do certain parts of the project, they could do it. So it's a sequence, and we're going to talk about some of that phasing in a few minutes. So everybody in town, I'm sure, knows the building. This is the Rodale complex. Quite a sort of a mix of kind of an interesting eclectic architecture that's over there. And again, one of the mantras was we were to use the existing building and only put on the additions that were necessary to support the spaces. And essentially, all of the program areas, with the exception of housing, the fire trucks, the emergency vehicles, along with the police cars, that is an addition because we couldn't do that within the existing building, but everything else is being repurposed for various functions. You can kind of get a flavor of what the parts of the building look like. We are trying to take advantage of as much of the existing construction as possible. Obviously, we're going to replace finishes and the like, but whenever possible, if we could save a wall, we're saving a wall. And that's, again, a way to be as economical as possible. We actually retained Gilmore Associates to actually do a survey. For those who might know, it's a very interesting site. There is a significant slope that occurs on this corner. There's some existing parking here. Right now, the parking behind is behind the building. So you're going to see in a few minutes of how we're planning on phasing the project, where we will reallocate some of the parking areas to different portions of the site. The other important thing is that the first question that we asked the staff, the leadership of Emmaus, was, what are our guiding principles? It's important to always go back to these because, first of all, they were developed by the folks from the borough, not by us. We were listening. And it's important to always go back to those guiding principles to make sure that we all remain on target as a partnership of putting this together. So those 7 guiding principles were efficiency. One of the factors, again, and there'll be a little bit of a repeat in here, is that one facility, one center that would house all the municipal functions. Security was a big issue, making sure that all the various departments would work together, but that the building remains a secure and safe environment. Cost benefit savvy, I just mentioned that on a few occasions. Currently, there's not enough space. So again, now this new building does offer a lot of area that can accommodate all the spaces. Enhanced needs and environmentally friendly, again, sustainability, and then one-stop shopping consolidation, sort of a repeat of what I said above. So with that, these are the guiding principles, and we're going to, during the various phases, we're going to always come back to those principles to make sure that we're on target. As I said, these were principles that were developed by the borough leadership and something that we'll continue to look at over the course of this project.
Okay, now we're going to share with you this diagram. This is actually, this was from our first meeting, and we were able to identify the main departments. When you look at this project is all about border administration, fire department, and police department. And actually, you can see through the arrows, the diagram is in a collaborative manner, where you can see this is what we're trying to do throughout the project. We're trying to consolidate all the departments. Here is after all the 6 meetings that we have with the design team, we actually came out with this as our final solution. You can see here in yellow is on the center of the building. We want to locate the administration area. Left of the administration area, you will have the police department. On the right side, you will have the fire and EMS. We still have some additional space. There's going to be a future tenant or a retail space, or could be a lease space that maybe the school will expand in the future. Again, this is looking at this sketch. Actually, this is all the work that we put basis on head of the departments, meetings that we have with the users, meeting we have actually when you're thinking about YouTube, when you're coming in a building like that, how you go to the main lobby, how you pay your bills, how you file a complaint in the police department. So this is actually what we came out with. Now I want to show you all the phases. We're going to be looking at this building and how we're going to build this building. So we have 6 different phases. So I'm going to take you for each of these phases. The first phase will be the border administration, which is going to be on the first floor. You will have your main lobby. On the right side, you're going to have all the administration offices. You're going to have the tax collector on the left. You can actually see all the many departments: border manager, codes, public work, storage, treasure. Again, this is phase number 1. Part of phase number 1 will be the second floor of this building as well, which on the second floor at this point, we're just going to be working on the council chambers. So again, the first is going to be the administration, and on the second floor, we're just going to do the council chambers. Part of phase 1 will be a solo project, a single small project, which will be the borough gym. That's part, again, is part of the phase 1. And now we're going to move to phase 2. Phase 2 is actually the remainder of the second floor, all the support department for the administration. We have a storage, a conference area. Again, when you come back, you see the council in phase 1, but we're not touching anything else. So when you come to phase 2, you see the remainder spaces that we're taking.
And the primary, can everybody hear it? Primary reason behind that was that in order to allow for the occupancy on the second floor, you need to build a stair. So what we're trying to do is defer that cost to phase 2 rather than phase 1.
Correct, and that's the stair, first floor and second floor. Here, that will be phase number 3. Phase number 3, we're proposing a visitors parking. It's going to be 21 spaces. It's going to be on the front of the building. That will be phase number 3. Now we move to phase number 4. Phase number 4 is going to be focused just on the fire department and EMS, ambulance department. Phase number 2, you see that we're using the system building completely. We have 3 main spaces, which is going to be the administration area. You will have locker rooms, and you will have the day room. Again, that will be phase number 4 just for the fire department. And we are just doing renovations. We're not touching the exterior of the building. Phase number 5 will be the garage. That will be a new addition, just for the fire department vehicles and the ambulance department vehicles. So that will be phase number 5. Again, that will be one of the additions that we're putting on the buildings. After phase number 5, we have related site work on the exteriors, just to match the grades from the fire department, so we have to do some repaving on the back of the building. Now we're gonna move to phase 6. That will be our final phasing. Phase number 6 will be the police department, where you can see, just to tell you a little bit of the distribution, you're gonna come through the main lobby of the building. You're gonna have a separate lobby for the police department. You're gonna have the administration, training rooms, squad area, evidence, locker rooms, armory, and processing area. Everything here is within the boundary of the building. Everything in phase number 6, that part of phase number 6 is gonna be a renovation. The final part of phase number 6 will be the addition again of the garage, the police garage, and the sally port. Now here, this is an image of what will be the site plan. So this is the existing building. This is the addition on the back. As you know, we still have existing 11 parking spots that could be used for employees parking. We have the proposed 21 new parkings. And we also have additional parking across the street from the building for overflow. And again, here we're moving to look at the architecture of the building, what it's gonna look like. This building is gonna be more about when you look at the building, you right away, you probably will guess the use of the building. Since it's a fire department, you will see that we're using the reds. And we're looking for a color to complement the red, which will be the white, will be the addition for the police department, so the two colors complement. We're having a third color, which will be the gray color, to complement the existing concrete, the existing masonry that we have through the building. So again, looking at these three colors, you can see, this is other chat from the Sally Port. You see all these colors start complementing. Here, actually, we are looking at this parking. We're actually using natural lighting for the parking. So hopefully, we don't have to use as much artificial lighting. The thing we're trying to have bring natural lighting to the police department. Here, this is an overall shot of what it's gonna be. Here, this is the existing building, which is the former library for Rodeo. That's the system masonry building. That's the flat building, which is the 7th generation school. And this is the addition that we're proposing, all this. And the building is gonna be mostly metal panel, prefab engineering building. And here, we're gonna talk about phasing.
So as Carlos was talking about, we're looking at a lot of different phases for this project. Now, again, depending on the availability of funds from the borough, there might be a few that are lumped together, or they might actually change from what we're calling phase 1 through phase 6. But really, what our task was to do was to identify the sort of breakdown for each one. And we actually went to a construction company in the valley to get some real good numbers. These numbers are based on we do a lot of public work, and these are based on actually getting prevailing wage. We're assuming that you would pay prevailing wage as you would on a public contract. But the one thing we've learned a lot about in terms of Emmaus is that the borough has the ability to do self-perform a lot of the work themselves. For instance, Carlos was talking about that front sort of new parking and visitor area, which was also a loop road potentially for the school, or the back parking lot. And so right now we've got a figure of, I think if you look as one example, the site work, we're projecting to be almost $300,000. There's no reason, since the borough's got its own equipment, why they couldn't do it themselves. But we need to sort of put together a number that made sense as a professional cost estimate to get that. So again, looking at these figures, we should be able to buy this for less. The other thing to note is there was another firm before us that did sort of a much more quicker sort of plan. I'll call it like sort of a master plan, and they had projected numbers. And if you add all those various pieces together, for instance, right now phase one is around $620,000 for the renovations to the first floor of the admin building, along with the second floor council chambers. And then the gym renovations is another $53,000. So again, some of that work can be self-performed. So that kind of work, we have to sort of determine that when we're developing our detailed drawings along with our specifications to see, okay, we're going to have contractors working here along with your own staff, and we'll have to sort of find a way to make that merge and work. But there's no doubt that you've got licensed people who are capable of doing that kind of work. So one of the things I mentioned, the fact is that now we need to, if we intend on renovating the rest of the second floor for storage and other meeting rooms, again, which could be used by the community. We have a number of a number of meeting rooms that could be used for various community groups. And in order to do that, we need to add that stair, because right now the existing stairs are good, except for they don't meet today. They're somewhat grandfathered in, so we can use them. But in order to meet the projected occupant loads for the second floor, we have to design a new stair. So that, for instance, is a number of around $350,000, including also some renovations on the second floor for the meeting rooms and the storage area. And I can go on and on and on, and it varies. Again, phase four, it may be, we know that we need to do that front parking area before we start renovating or actually adding on the new addition, which is the structure for the emergency vehicles and the fire department, along with the police department. So we know we need to do that work prior to it. So it's a little bit of a chess game here of trying to make things work. We think we've got a good plan in place to make that happen. And then on and on and on. So the total number, and this could take 5 years. Again, it all depends. It all depends again on the financing. The overall cost, construction cost, is about $4.8 million. Now that is for construction costs. That's estimated construction costs. There are some other costs on top of that, like soft costs, architects' fees, legal fees, furniture, things like that. So that's pretty much our game plan.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from council? Comments? No?
I just want to thank you guys for your hard work. When we look at the construction costs, that's right around where our original feasibility study was. I mean, it's in the range depending on what kind of work you did. So that the construction costs were right around where we were hearing a year and a half ago. So I'm happy to see that part of it.
And also we've increased the scope. Sizes of some of the program areas have increased, so which is also good that we've kept it within that original cost.
For council, just so council members know, the process didn't just include the committee members. Each department went back to their own subcommittee and worked with them in trying to design a functional building. So when you see what the police layout is, that's based on a number of police officers working with the chief, and then the chief coming back and relaying that information to the committee and so forth, right down the line to every one of our employees in town hall at some point was involved in a meeting. And same thing with the fire and ambulance. They had the opportunity to work with the chiefs and give their input and tour the building. We did that multiple times. So it's been a very inclusive process, I think, with all of our departments, as well as council. We've kept you in the loop and gave you every piece of information that we received. So, again, thank you for your help with this.
I just think it's important to note something he touched on. It. The time frame is not a strict hard-dated time frame. As we have funds available and we sell our buildings and so forth, that will help to pay for this construction and the moving of the other buildings to there. So I think for the public's point of view, they should know that, you know, there isn't, it's not a set, we must do this in 5 years. We have time to do this in, and that understanding should be out there.
Absolutely.
I think it was understood by this council that we did not want to do this by raising taxes. So we're going to go at a pace where that's not going to happen. And if it takes 10 years, it takes 10 years. And if it moves up in process, the economy gets better, or there's grant money out there, then the process will move faster. But I want to say how well all the department heads in the committee structure and how well that worked, because as they prioritized what was most important. If there was an item that we missed and they brought back, well, if you change one thing, it was a domino effect where you had to change other items, and there was a lot of thought went into this. And I think by the last time we met, everything was pretty much thought out the way that everyone wanted it.
Yes, and I know that efficiency was one of our top priorities as far as what we wanted to get out of it, but I felt the process was very efficient. I mean, compliments to your entire firm in that when we talked about something, when we would meet the next time, it was corrected or the possibilities were put in front of us. All right, here's where you need to go with this, which, I mean, I've been involved in other projects on small scale, bigger scale, and it's often, oh yeah, these little pieces get forgotten, and then to the very end you're trying to figure it out. But it seemed like each time it was a very efficient, here's what we're working on today, here's our 3-hour meeting, let's get all of this done. Once it's done, we'll come back, we'll see you in 2 weeks, and then that was taken care of. So I appreciate your efficiency. I know the number of hours that was spent at the committee level, but also among all the department heads. So that energy and time didn't seem to get wasted. It got really focused in when it needed to, which was nice.
Any other comments or questions? Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Tovar, thank you very much. Appreciate your hard work and good presentation. Thank you.
And we're very proud to be part of the project. We are really, this is a project that we feel that, you know, that we came up with a good design, cost-effective project. And at the end of the day, we all go happy as a designer, thinking that we did the right thing for the community and for everybody. So thank you again, and we will see you again as the project moves forward.
I'll open this up to the public if anybody in the public has a comment or a question. Hearing none, I'm going to just call like a 2-minute recess so they can pack up and move on, so they're not the show. At 7:29. We're at the reading of the minutes. Is there a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes? Councilman Barrett, second. Councilwoman Gilbert, questions, comments? All those in favor? 7 ayes. Motion to approve the minutes. Councilman Barrett, second. Councilman Anders, additions or corrections? Hearing none. Motion to approve the minutes. Council, huh?
They already made it.
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Yeah.
7 ayes. Decisions on bids. There are no decisions on bids. Communications. We have a letter from the Pennsylvania Department of Education, the Summer Food Service Program, asking if we would like to participate in providing a site to feed the hungry children while they are out of school. I think I will refer this to the Health and Sanitations and Codes Committee.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
It's health, feeding kids.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right, so we'll send it to that committee.
May I?
Sure, go ahead.
I do see it says Dear Fire Chief, so has he received the letter? I brought it in. Oh, you're the one that brought it, okay.
That was just in reference to finding a site for if there's kids during the summer, if they're going to do this program, where they can eat, and they recommended that maybe a fire hall. But really, the letters, if you read it, it says anywhere in the borough.
Right, gotcha. Thank you.
We received a letter from our animal control officer. Dear Chief Faust, I have enjoyed my 32 years as part-time animal control officer with the Emmaus Police Department. My experiences and memories of the job are largely most memorable. As in anything, there were unfortunate circumstances. I want to thank you, the officers, and your clerical staff for all the good memories I will treasure. With this said, I am retiring effective January 1st, 2016.
July 1st.
July 1st, 2016. Sorry to hear this, but 32 years is a long time to be an animal control officer. I would say that's probably the most senior in probably the whole Lehigh Valley. Is there a motion to allow the borough manager to prepare advertising for our new animal control officer? Councilman Anders, second. Councilman Barrett, discussion. Councilwoman Gilbert.
Before we go that far, I'd rather discuss it at public safety to make sure we need to fill the position. I think public safety needs to discuss it first.
I'm fine with sending it to public safety, and then that can be discussed.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. Withdraw a second. All right, motion withdrawn. And I guess there's other options that we're not aware of then.
I think we just need to discuss it first
Okay.
before we move forward.
All right, then Councilman Brown.
Yeah, if we can just send out a thank you for all of his time.
Most definitely.
That he's done here, so that's pretty,
It's standard.
pretty awesome, though, that he was able to put all that time in.
Yes. We also received a letter from Chad Balliot, South Mountain Cycle and Cafe, with regard, it's an event form for a charity bicycle riding event. The only comment I had on that is I didn't see any course. It just looks like what they drive through town somewhere. I don't know. It's not like a set race or anything. It's just a ride.
I think they're here.
Oh, you are here. Would you like to explain it?
Sure.
There's no actual request from the borough, though, right?
There is. Police department.
Police department. Okay, go ahead and state your name and sign in, please.
Oh, sure. My name is David Parr. I live at 656 Evergreen Street. Chad could not make it here tonight, so I'm stepping in for him. I'm the promoter of the event. It is a 300-person charity ride that starts in Emmaus and then heads south into the hills that go down through the beautiful hills south of here, and then comes back into Emmaus. It's about a 60-mile ride. It takes people 4 to 6 to 7 hours to complete. What we're mostly asking for, because we have the registration set up in South Mountain Cycle and Cafe, is Porta Johns set up outside of his business, because last year we found that his 2 facilities were not necessarily enough to get people through quickly. And so we're asking to have 2 Porta Johns set up outside of his shop. Somewhere there, I think that's what the event form was. Unfortunately, I did not see that.
Are there any other requests that you'll be needing for this event?
I do not believe so. I think parking is handled through different spots, like in
Okay.
Rodeo and such. So.
It says that they have a request in for Emmaus PD to escort
Right.
riders.
Oh, okay. I did not know that part was through it, but he had mentioned last year we had a police escort out of town, and I'm sorry that I can't really speak to what went through in the form on that, but that is something that was certainly helpful and appreciated just for a little traffic control
Okay,
as we roll out
so
of town.
I'll refer this to the safety committee.
Is there time? It's April 9th for the event.
We would need to take action on this evening.
Okay.
I don't have a meeting till the 6th, and their event is the
Okay.
9th.
Okay, so the porta toilets can be handled by staff.
Well, I guess where would you be putting the porta toilets at? I mean, I'm trying
Parking in
to.
the rear.
Are you putting it like in the back?
And again, I wish he was here for that. He was talking about up against the building. So if you come out, if you're facing the shop, there's
From Main
a little-
Street.
Hmm?
From Chestnut.
From Chestnut. So there's a little kind of porch patio thing there. There's handicap access that will come out to the left-hand side as you're facing it. So on the right-hand side, there's a spot there with windows, and there's probably about 4 or 6 feet of sidewalk in there. So
You would need to vote on that.
if there's other options that, in borough, I know when there's been events in the borough, they've been over on the other side of the street. That's we're certainly open to options, which works best for the borough.
Is there a motion to grant approval for 2 porta toilets?
Yes,
2?
please. That's what we're.
Outside the cycle shop for April 9th event. Is there a motion?
Well, let's have discussion. I'll put the motion.
Councilman
Just
Anders,
so we can
second.
discuss it.
Councilman Brown, discussion. Councilman Schubsta.
Yeah, I just have a question. And we've done a lot of events in Emmaus, but I don't know if I remember anyone ever coming here asking for us to pay for porta johnies.
I don't think
we're
That's
paying
not-
for it.
Yeah.
No?
No.
No, we would
Oh,
certainly
no.
pay for
Oh,
it.
you just want to place
They
them?
want permission to
Yep.
place
Okay.
them on the
reason,
sidewalk.
so
I
the
didn't get
reason I'm asking that you vote on it is because it's going to be in the public right of way.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily on their private property, and it may impede the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So, for that reason, I believe that's a council decision. If it was on their private property, which they really can't, there's really no way to do that,
Yeah.
then you really wouldn't need to vote on the matter.
How long will they be at the cycle shop prior to leaving?
The Porta John Company is asked to drop them off on the Friday before and pick them up the Monday after. That is something we can work with them to see if Saturday pickup is available. They would certainly need to get there the Saturday before because people would start getting there around 7 o'clock on Saturday morning.
I don't know if there's enough room
Okay.
there.
Councilman Barrett.
Because I don't really know exactly where the property, I mean, I went behind the property, but I'm not exactly sure whose property starts where.
Right.
Is it possible to put it behind the property? I mean, I believe that the Wells Fargo lot kind of sandwiches in there, and is there any part of that property that is part of cycling shop? That it could be put behind the building, maybe against a back wall there? It would be right on the little alley that's there, but it
Right.
might not impede.
I believe so if you come up, and I forget the name of that alley, around that left, that is the Wells Fargo area.
I believe so.
Probably. So I think that is still Wells Fargo. The shop would be on the other side of that. That's where the garage door is.
Right.
So it might be something we have to work out with Wells Fargo because I know they have parking there and spaces and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother us at all if it was behind the building. We could certainly tell everyone where they were.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not
I'm
sure where
simply
that would
looking
be.
at it from how unsightly it might be to have Porta John
Oh, I'd
sitting
rather
out
have
there
the
for.
pictures of the ride start without a big blue Porta Johns, absolutely.
Right, yeah. I'd be in favor if we could figure out a way to put it in the back, and it might end up on private property. You might have to be speaking with Wells Fargo, but there's probably about 6 properties that connect right in that little area there, so.
Right.
Councilman Anders.
Or would it be possible for the mayor to have that alleyway closed for that time period that they were there and just put them in that alley to the right there? If
So
that's
you're gonna close an alleyway for toilets?
It's an alley.
Just,
I would prefer it be in the back, as Wes would say. I'm just throwing other options versus out on the front sidewalk where, shoppers and other people may impede that.
I personally don't have a problem with them being up against the building for what essentially is probably like 8 hours.
No, they're delivered Friday and won't be picked up till Monday.
So for the weekend then.
what's
But the
date?
actual use of them is probably going to just be for the event.
Right, we would lock them up after the shop is closed on Saturday.
I think
Right.
Well, any more questions or discussion? Councilman Dufresne?
Can we not vote on it and provide to come up with a place to put them agreeable by Shane that's off of Chestnut Street? Because I agree, 3 days is, I'm not used to seeing that in Emmaus,
I don't think people want to see that either,
right?
unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna put it so that we come to terms on that, I think you can do that.
Another location would be better.
Yeah.
I
I think that would be fine if you wanna put that.
Who made the original motion?
Wes
I don't think, oh yeah, we have a motion on the floor.
And-
Yeah, I put the
was
motion.
Roy- it was
Roy
I'll
and Nate.
I'll amend my original motion
Okay, to have it,
to find an alternate location, but to approve them upon an alternate location.
okay, approve the alternate location approved by Shane,
By the borough manager.
By the borough manager.
borough manager. Okay, and the second? Okay. Any more discussions or questions? All those in favor? There are 7 ayes. As far as the police escort,
I'm fine with that. We do it for other things.
yeah, I mean, but that's not something we're in control of, though.
Normally, if the police department's able to, they just do it.
They will, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there'd be no problem for that.
So
I don't think they need
we'll allow
extra
the mayor
staff
to
here.
take care of that.
Yeah, that'd be no
All right.
problem.
It looks like your 2 items are addressed.
Okay, so what would my next steps be?
For the location of the porta toilets, please contact our borough manager, Shane,
Okay.
and either he will or our public works director will help with guiding you where to put them.
Great. Okay.
I did notice one thing in here as far as you're advising your riders not to park in town, but could we offer them parking on our Rodeo parking lots, and that way they can come into town and be close to there? I mean, would that be feasible to council? Just so, I mean, I think for people to.
Public parking lots.
You know,
I think
they're
they meet at the
public
library
lots,
now,
and we
sometimes.
could possibly,
That
that
would
way
be great.
riders can maybe even experience some of the town while they're here versus, you know, scattering right when they're done.
If you contact Shane, Shane will have suggestions for parking. There's even parking right down the road here too. So just contact Shane. He'll provide some opportunities for
Great.
parking.
Thank you.
Thank you for holding the event.
Councilwoman
Absolutely.
Gilbert.
Just a question, do we have a copy of the actual liability insurance? I know it has USA Cycling, but do we have a copy of that document?
I don't know that answer. I was out of town last week.
Okay,
I'm
it's not
sorry.
attached to the
Yeah.
document, and I was just wondering if we have it.
If it's not attached, I would probably lean towards no.
If we can make sure we get a copy of it, please.
Yeah.
I'll make
Thank
sure you
you.
get a copy of it. I would say you don't have it yet because I haven't printed a copy myself yet, so, yeah.
All right,
I'll make
thank
sure
you.
Shane, be in contact with Shane about that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Nate has-
Oh, Councilman Brown.
Just, was last year the first annual event?
It's been going on kind of in a much smaller scale. Last year we got up to about 200 people, which became much bigger. This year we capped it at 300 people.
Do you perceive this being an annual event?
Absolutely. It sold out within like a couple of weeks, and
Wow.
we've been,
That's good for
people
our-
have been begging for more, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please convey to Mr. Balliet that next year to maybe get it in a little earlier.
Okay.
Because
Yep.
to go through the actual process, I mean, this could have been handled at the committee structure and all these questions hammered out instead
Okay.
of on the floor.
Definitely.
So I would say 2 months at least for advance notice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thanks.
Anyone else receive any other communications? We have, I don't know if anyone else got it, but I have 3 more borough events forms that were filled out. Rochelle Romeo for Run Lehigh Valley. It's an event that's been for several years now. It's the Funk 5 Miler.
We got that. That was last. That was
We
2
already
weeks ago.
approved that.
Yeah.
Okay, that was on my desk tonight. All right, and then, well then maybe, I don't think we got these. There's Citizens Fire Company number 2, the Community Carnival, which is, there's nothing to do for that. Staff will handle that. But that is, oh, they are asking for a banner installation, I'm sorry. But staff can handle that. And we also received from Lehigh Valley Roadrunners Emmaus 4 Miler. Wesley
That's already
Barrett
done, yeah.
is our applicant, and that's the same as always, and it will be handled by staff, but I just wanted to point out that those were,
Are they looking for a fee waiver on the banner? Is that,
For number 2,
yeah,
I don't think we've ever waived.
no,
the
I don't
fee.
think that's just part of the
It's a private
application, I
club.
think.
just part of their application,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
And then we received a letter from Rodale. It's the typical letter we get for the Emmaus Community Swimming Pool on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays from 7 to 8, from June 1st to September 2nd. And as usual, they will pay $25 per rental session and a $12.50 per session for a lifeguard. I had asked Roy ahead of time if this is all right, since it's a yearly thing, if he would make the motion to grant this.
Sure, do you want it now, or do you want it during Parks and Rec?
Oh, you can do it now.
I would put the motion out to grant Rodale Inc. the use of community pool from June, yeah.
It's June 1st to September
June
2nd.
1st, excuse me, to September 2nd.
And it's from 7 to 8 a.m.
From 7 to 8 a.m. with the fee structure, they pay $25 per rental session and $12.50 per session for a lifeguard.
So moved. Is there a second? Councilman Barrett, questions, discussion? All those in favor? There are 7 ayes. I also received a letter on my desk tonight, and you have to bear with me. It's handwritten. It's a nice letter. Mr. Council President, my name is Jay Seckler, and I've been a longtime resident of this community. The reason I am writing to you is because we lost a much missed friend who passed away on January 5th, 2016. Her name was Barbara Cole. Every day during the summer months, Barbara would always enjoy spending her afternoons at the community pool, weather permitting. Barbara always had a particular bench where she always sat and placed her belongings. people were drawn to that bench whenever Barbara was there. Barbara had a very special gift. She had a way of being able to connect to people, even children. She was liked by so many. What I am asking for, Mr. President, is that would Borough Council entertain the idea of dedicating a plaque placed on the bench where Barbara sat in memory of Barbara Cole. It was mentioned by Barbara's friends that the expense of the plaque would be paid for by them. If you could please present this idea to Borough Council and see if Council would entertain this idea. I am sure that if this becomes a reality, Barbara will look down on from the heavens above at this bench, and I'm sure it would put a smile on her face. If there's anything else I should know, please let me know by contacting me. And he has his information here. He's from Emmaus, and it's sincerely Jay Seckler, which is a nice letter. I think everyone on this council knows Barbara Cole, and she was probably the mayor of the swimming pool.
I went to school with her.
Yeah, classmate of my father also. So anyhow, I will forward it to Parks and Rec. I don't see any problem with putting a plaque in memory, a little placard on the bench in memory of Barbara.
She was like our resident police officer down there.
Yeah.
Right.
Which you know, no matter what, you appreciated it because there were some things that she observed that she would let you know about, and you would appreciate that. If there was one person at the pool at any time during the day, it was Barbara Cole.
Even in the rain.
Even in the rain. Even in the rain.
She gave good constructive criticism, and she also let us know when we were doing things right. And she was a watchdog of the pool too. She kept an eye on it.
Yeah, she also was very involved with the library as well. I know she's maybe known for the pool, but the library as well. So maybe the library can do something to help out.
So anyhow, that was a nice letter. So that ends communications. Borough engineers report. There is none. Solicitors report.
Yes, I would just request a very brief executive session. I notice it's already on the agenda. I have 2 items to go over with council.
Thank you. Unfinished business part 1. We have none. New business. We have ordinance 1139. Is there a motion to read in short title? Councilwoman Gilbert, is there a second? Councilman Brown, discussion. All those in favor? 7 ayes. I'll read it from this one. An ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 15, subsection 602.2.a of the Emmaus Borough Code, adding a residential handicap parking sign on the public street located in front of 224 Adrian Street within the Borough of Emmaus. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 1139? Councilwoman Gilbert, seconded by Councilman Brown. Questions, discussion? Roll call vote. Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Councilman Schubsta.
Aye.
Councilman Anders.
Aye.
Councilman Barrett.
Aye.
Councilman Dufresne.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilman Labenberg. Aye. 7 ayes.
Second reading will be the second meeting of April.
Thank you. That is it for new business. Unfinished business part 2. We have 2 items that will have second reading on April 4th. Ordinance 1137, which has to do with combining our Entertainment Commission and our Parks and Rec Commission. And then also Ordinance 1138, second reading on April 4th, and that will be extending the bus zone on East Minor Street by the charter school. Items not on the agenda. Anything? Councilman Brown.
Thank you. Mr. President, you asked us to review our annual police report
yes, I
2 weeks ago. Actually, I reviewed it beforehand, and what sticks out to me is the number of juvenile incidences that we've had in 2015. Not all, 100% of them, are incidents directly related to the school, but have some kind of connection. For For some time now, I believe that the East Penn School District needs to look into having an SRO at the school. It is time that the borough and the school district come into a conversation and talk seriously about the SRO. It is my opinion that I would ask that my request go to public safety and gather the data and what involves our juvenile officer may have and what exact numbers that we can have to present to the school district. At the school, just so you're aware, there are about the same number of pupils and as the borough of Macungie in population, just so you know. Many other school districts have worked out a solution with their local townships and boroughs to have an SRO, such as Parkland, Southern Lehigh, and many others. Even Northampton School District, they installed their own internal police department. The time that our officers spend at this school is astronomical. We are already short on our police department, and I feel that we need to come to a formal agreement if the school wants to use our officers on a daily basis for the school year during school hours. I appreciate your time and honoring my request.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. If I recall, I believe they had that in their budget this year, but they ended up cutting that. Am I correct on that? Anyone else?
For the 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
That was last year.
They know it's important to us, but maybe we can send them a letter and also contact them and let them know that this is kind of a priority for us. Councilman Barrett?
I guess if I could comment, I do agree that we should, without question, have a conversation. From a personal standpoint, I think that it's also important. But I think maybe we're actually getting to something that's bigger. We should also continue our conversations with the school more regularly. There was a period of time when we had quality conversations back and forth, and I felt that in the last few years has subsided. If we can rejuvenate that, I think that would move those relationships in a positive direction, because just like ourselves, when we vote on things, if we don't have information from other perspectives, we just take the perspectives that we know. I'm sure, knowing a number of the people on that board, they're open-minded and interested in hearing a different perspective, and that may change their views as well. So I think it's worth having the conversation that you're bringing up, but the bigger conversation is all things going on with the school district in general.
So you're recommending an ad hoc committee be formed again,
If
like
not
we had in the
ad hoc,
past?
just establishing some level of communication, more regular communication with that. We can talk about that at Gen Ed if we wanted to.
I'm going to assign it to Gen Ed and see how we're going to handle that, but it should move forward. I agree. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mayor's report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I received a letter here. Dear Mayor Yobst, on February 2nd, 1981, I began my police career as a police officer with the Nazareth Area Police Department. On December 1st, 1987, I continued it on with my career, becoming an officer with the Emmaus Police Department. Suddenly, it is 2016. The past 35 years, including the last 28 years with the Emmaus, have rapidly flown by. After that amount of time, I announced my retirement as sergeant with the Emmaus Police Department. I really enjoyed coming to work each day, being able to perform my duties alongside my friends, who are also my brother officers and clerical staff. As a department, we had several major accomplishments over the last 28 years. On May 13, 2006, a red letter day in the history of the Emmaus Police Department, the department became the 37th accredited law enforcement agency throughout Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission. This is an ongoing process that ensures that the department is dedicated to maintaining its status of being a professional and widely respected police department. This is a direct result of the efforts of the men and women of the department. My last day as an active member of the Emmaus Police Department will be March 31st, 2016. My decision to retire after 35 years was very difficult, yet easy. It was difficult because I still enjoy doing the job. It was easy in knowing that the department will continue to operate at an unsurpassed level in years to come. The quality personnel that have been hired will ensure this process, or this success. The current success and future success of the department is a tribute to the efforts of you, Chief Faust and Councilwoman Gilbert. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve the Borough of Emmaus for the last 28 years. Sincerely, Sergeant Carl D. Gershwin. I must say, Sergeant Gershwin has really dedicated himself to the Emmaus Police Department and really is a big factor in our accreditation. And I wish him nothing but the best down the road, whatever he's going to tackle. And anyway, he did a wonderful job. Any other comments, I'd be glad to hear progress.
Thank you, Mayor. He's an outstanding officer, and he earned his retirement with all the years that he served this borough. Another experienced officer that will be hard to replace. I think are we 3 officers down now, Leanne?
Yeah.
3 officers, so that even leads more credence to what Councilman Brown was saying with having an officer at the school all the time. So his last day is next Thursday. If you get a chance, also wish him the best of luck and congratulations on his retirement. Do we need to advertise for this, or is it just going to be taken care of with the other 2?
Yeah. So we're in the hiring process right now. We just reviewed all the applications today. We received 27 applications, which is actually higher than what we anticipated due to the fact that we're mandating the Act 120. It looks like all but 2 of them will be eligible. We're meeting with the Civil Service Commission on Thursday to get their ruling on eligibility, but the testing process is coming up. I think the written exam is Saturday, April 2nd is the beginning of it. So the good news is they're all Act 120. The bad news is they have to go through the entire process, and including the background. If they survive, and I say if because you know what the past few months have been, or past few have been like. The good news again is they'll be street ready, other than what our field training will include, but they'll be street ready after the field training instead of having to go to the academy for 6 months. So we're hoping, we're confident, kind of, that we'll have some good candidates through this process that are actually already certified and ready to go.
Thank you. Oh, Councilman Barrett.
I guess I'd say it very briefly, because whenever you have 3 employees, I mean, counting our animal control officer, that have been in the borough for so long, I mean, there's 1,001 thank yous that you could mention, so many accomplishments, many small, but they add up to be a lot of things. But one of the things that I think anyone that dedicates that much time wants to have some sort of kind of legacy that carries with them, and it's a perfect transition time where you have an establishment, the Emmaus Police Department, that I mean, the accreditation, the many accolades that they've achieved, and just the overall respect that they have within the community. It's a great time to kind of, that legacy gets left here and announce the new generation that comes in the next few years as we hire additional police officers that really continue that establishment. So while disappointed to hear some of our longest standing officers are leaving, at the same time it gives opportunity for something new.
And Sergeant Gershwin in particular was very instrumental in the accreditation, and that has been one of his primary duties in that department, and it keeps him busy. I know that he was instrumental in getting the original accreditation, and he's been instrumental throughout the process of getting us reaccredited. And that includes not just the state accreditation, but we also received, we were one of the 1% in the nation that received the national accreditations. And you know, that goes to show you what kind of department we have, and in particular, all the details and hard work that Sergeant Gershwin put into preparing us and getting us ready for that. And I certainly appreciate that, because there's not a lot of municipalities that can say that their police department has those credentials, and we're certainly thankful that we do, and he was a large part of that.
Thank you. Committee reports. We'll move on to Public Works. Chairman Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Liebenberg. One item for official action tonight. That official action is the hiring of a public works / mechanic position. The hiring is based contingent upon a background check as well. Just before I make this motion, I just wanted to let you know